some teams' tactics are to get into the other team's head by having that kind of demeanor on the field of play. But if you're a strong team, if you know what you're doing, whatever the other team is doing won't matter to you because you're going to be there to perform.
So much a mental game. Here on the World Cup Archery Tours, we begin with an 8 for China on the first shot from Cheng Ming. Now Zhu Jing.
And looking at the flags on the field, it is quartering to the right towards the archers. It's a headwind quartering to the right. And these archers have no information of the field, again, because they're the first archers on the field of play. So whatever they do right now is setting the stage for all the rest of the archers that'll be coming onto the field.
And the feeling out period that goes on typically in the first, really the first set.
The first 3 arrows will basically set the tone.
And the third shooter is Zhu Juman. And so 3 8s for China. They'll have a lot to talk about as they try to figure out the conditions here. Shooting at that target 70 meters away. And now leading off for Georgia is Yulia Lobzhenitsa.
So that was interesting. All of China's arrows are low 8s. They're on the low side, but Yulia's first arrow is level. It's at directly left, or 9 o'clock of the 10 ring. So let's see what happens here. It's a little high. So they're having the opposite effect of what China had, and I can see Team China right now. Some of them are clicking on their sights and moving it down a little bit. I'm wondering if Georgia took that information and tried to compensate already. But either way, Georgia's average is high right now.
After Esabua's 8, it is Narimanidze, also with an 8. So we're tied at 24. And back to China, Cheng Ming. Cheng Ming, 28 years old, ranked 22nd in the world, down the middle.
Well, the interesting thing with Cheng Ming is her anchor point, or where the string touches her face, is not normal. Usually you see archers with the string on the tip of her nose, tip of their noses. Like right here, we can see the string is touching the tip of her nose. But Cheng Ming seems to be floating on the side of her nose, which is, in my opinion, a lot more difficult way of shooting because you can't gauge your left and right as easily as touching the tip of your nose like that, again.
But it's all a matter of comfort and what's comfortable for each archer.
Exactly. So if the archer has practiced it, they know their shot, they know what to do, they know how it feels, it's going to go in the middle as long as you do it exactly the same way every single time.
So those last 3 shots for China, better obviously than their first 3 shots. Georgia hoping to do the very same as Lobzhenitze leads off with a 9 in this set, or this series of shots coming up for Georgia. Now Christine Esabua, 29 years old, ranked 74th in the world, a silver medalist in Torino in 2011 at the World Championships.
So all Georgia can do now is tie if Katuna shoots a 10 right now. So this is a little bit of a pressure shot because you don't want China to take over, and let's see what she does.
Narimanidze has been to the Olympics in Beijing and Athens. She's performed in pressure situations before, but cannot come through right now. And so the set does go to China. And let's explain the scoring system. 3 archers per team. Each shoots 2 times during each of the 4 ends, or sets, I should say. Bottom line, each nation shoots a total of 4 arrows per set, 24 for the match. And we're using the set system, so the first team to pick up 5 points is the winner. And correct me if I'm wrong on any of that.
Well, it's there's a lot of transitioning from the old system to the new system. So I won't mention what the old system used to be because the new system is the only thing that counts.
You'll only confuse me more.
But yes, you're right. Each team has to shoot 6 arrows. That's 2 arrows per archer in a 2-minute time period, which is half of what we get whenever we shoot 6 arrows in the qualification round. So it's a very fast-paced game. Whichever team has the higher score of 6 arrows in that set will take the set and win 2 set points. If you tie, then it's going to be 1 set point apiece, and the loser of that gets no set points. So the first team to 5 set points is going to win this team round.
All right. Well said, Crispin.
I think you said it shorter than I did, but I think it's...
I took some shortcuts, though, and you filled in the gaps quite nicely. I appreciate that. Crispin Duenas of Canada joining us here on World Archery TV for the team competition in Recurve on Recurve Sunday here in Wroclaw, Poland. Beautiful day again. Absolutely great weather. Had wonderful weather yesterday, a little bit warm on the warm side, and we expect it to warm up as the day goes on here. But
I think it's a beautiful backdrop for what we're trying to present archery as, because we've got beautiful Poland in the back, and ooh, that's. I should comment on what Julia just did. The rules for team round is that you have to stand behind the 1 meter line until the whistle
Correct.
goes. And when the single whistle goes, the first archer, or Julia in this case, must step up to the line, and once her feet are planted on both sides of the shooting line, may her arrow leave the quiver. So she's kind of flirting with that timing right now when I just saw her walk up to the line, because if you pull that arrow out of the quiver before your feet are planted, and it goes for every archer, you will get a yellow card from the judge, and they are watching what you're doing very closely. A yellow card simply means that you have to put that arrow back in your quiver or drop it to the ground, like get rid of that arrow that you pulled out, step back over the 1 meter line, and come back over the 1 meter line and start all over again. A lot of archers don't have a contingency plan on what to do when that happens. So it'll be interesting to see if our judge picks up on the almost infraction by Julia when she steps onto the line.
amazing grouping by Georgia that time. They were all in the 8 ring right around the same spot. Now China comes out shooting a 7 here in the second set.
On the left.
Yeah.
And the wind has shifted.
And Georgia was left as well.
The wind has shifted on the field. I'm looking at all the flags right now, and it's the wind did change between the first and the second set, and it didn't really matter for her because that was a 10.
So now Zhu Juman, 21 years old, ranked 92nd in the world. She was 9th individually in Shanghai at the start of this World Cup season. And right now, China with a 2-point lead in this second set. They lead in the match 2-0 over Georgia.
We didn't see the video of Julia, the footage of Julia stepping up to the line.
Lobzhenitsa. Even further left.
It's a 6 out left.
That's out in the suburbs.
We call that swimming, and we don't really like to go swimming in archery. But again, it's set play, no matter what happens in one set to the other, if it's not the final set. See, that's really
Look
interesting.
at the grouping.
That's got to be some sort of condition shift on the field of play. So the archers are looking really confused. I think I would be at this point as well. Looking at the flags, they are pointing in the right direction for those arrows to be left.
So she overcompensates a little bit.
Overcompensated, yes, but unfortunately not in the gold. And we'll see what China does with this information.
Georgia in a precarious position right now with only 44 points in the set. And Cheng Ming starts off with a 9. China leading already 2-0 on set points.
And a 10 here would clinch the set for China.
And put them in a commanding position in this match. Zhu Jing, 23 years old, 7th in the world, also a 9.
So a hit here is going to clinch the match.
Zhu Juman, team silver medalist against Germany at Medellin at the second stage of this summer's World Cup tour, and she finishes it off, and this set goes to China as well. And the Chinese archers break on top 4-0 here in the match.
And it's really weird. I'm getting some correspondence with Hugh McDonald, who you're going to see later on today, from On the Field of Play, and he is saying that there is no wind on the field of play, despite what the flags are saying. He is out there right now in the stands, and he's saying that there is no wind. So whatever happened to Georgia, I can't even explain it. Maybe the sun is getting in their eyes, maybe they're seeing the string differently, and that is another problem that can happen for people who need to see the string alignment. And what string alignment is controls your left and right. And depending on which way the sun hits your string will determine how you see your string. So when you're at full draw and you're looking at that fuzzy blur of your string past the string and then at your sight pin, that will tell you whether you're holding centered or if you're holding left or holding right. And if the sun hits that string on the right side or on the left side, it illuminates a different side of the string. So that's one of the only things I can think of on why Georgia had those arrows out to the left. And then other than that, all I can think of is wind. But if Hugh was saying there's no wind out there, then there's no wind. And there he is at the top of the stands. Right in the middle, smack dab in the middle.
Our meteorologist, Hugh McDonald, on the scene, reporting live along with Crispin Duenas and yours truly, Carl Arky. Hope you're enjoying our live coverage of Stage 4 of the Archery World Cup Tour 2014, our final stop before we head to Lausanne, Switzerland next month for the World Cup Finals. So, Georgia trailing in the match 4-0 will lead off with Yulia Lobshanidze, 36 years old, and she finally gets into the center of the target.
That's a good shot. That's a good, strong way to come back from shooting an 8 and a 6 in the last set. But again, it's only set points. The set points go to 5, so whoever reaches 5 first. And if China and Georgia tie on this set, China will win. Georgia needs to win this set. And right now, with how they're shooting, it's good steps to winning this set. They got to pull it out for all 6 arrows, though.
Backs against the wall, they've come out firing. 2 10s in a row by Sabua and Lobshanidze. Now they need another one from Narimanidze. Instead, a 7.
Which is kind of where her last shot was as well. Kind of a low right 7. Hopefully she's moved her sight.
Cheng Ming leading off for China. Solid shot, Cheng Ming. Gold medalist in Istanbul at the World Cup Finals in 2011. Now Zhu Jing, a silver medalist in Belek, where, by the way, Crispin Duenas picked up a bronze medal himself.
That's a good tournament.
Good memory.
Very good memory. And China's kind of on par with Georgia right now. If they just keep shooting what they've done in these previous 2 arrows, another 9 will keep them tied with Georgia and right on track on winning this match. 10 will do as well.
Yes. Zhu Juman anchoring for China, and China in the driver's seat right now, leading by 1 point midway through this 3rd set. And if Georgia is not going to be swept, they've got to come up with some big shots right now. Lobshanidze.
That was a really shaky shot, and there was kind of a flinch right before she let go of that arrow. And I got to say, but I'm not surprised that that arrow is that low because of that movement before the shot. That's just nerves right now.
Sabua, who finished 17th in London at the Olympics 2 years ago, off to the left. So right now the Georgian archer is pretty much all over the map. They were grouping before earlier on.
Well, they made it to this bronze medal final, so that means that they were shooting really well, and maybe it's just the nerves of being on the big stage and in front of everybody and knowing that bronze medal is on the line. 3 seconds left for the Georgian team on that set.
Katuna Narimanidze nails that shot. One of the better shots so far of the day for Georgia, but they are in, again, a precarious position with China coming after them, trying to close them out, and can on these final 2 shots. He will be up to Zhu Jing and Zhu Juman, as Cheng Ming started off with a good shot right there in 9. Now Zhu Jing, who won a team silver medal and a mixed team gold medal in Medellin this summer. A team silver medal in London. And now all it takes is 4 to win. So China going for 2 bronze medals today, and they get the first one right there on the shot by Zhu Juman.
Well, that was a good way to finish off your match, even though you know you need only a 4 to win. Sometimes some archers will be a little complacent with that last shot and be like, you know, all I need to do is basically hit the target and I'm going to be good. But to be able to pull out a 10 even in this kind of almost relieved situation shows how well trained these archers from China are. But again, hats off to Georgia. It was an unfortunate second set for them, but it's the way this game is played.
And it's over that quickly as China takes care of business. Cheng Ming, Zhu Jing, and Zhu Juman coming out and scoring a straight set victory in 3 sets. They win them all, and they sweep the 3 archers from Georgia, Christine Sabua, Yulia Lobshanidze, and Katuna Narimanidze. getting to this bronze medal match, but going home empty-handed as China takes care of business. We've got more of the ladies in store coming up here this morning. Women's team gold medal match coming up with number 4 Mexico taking on number 2 India. As you take in some more of the sights, the sounds, the excitement, the fun that is World Cup archery here in Wroclaw, Poland, where the organizing committee does such an outstanding job. Of course, our sponsors do an outstanding job as well, and we want to thank them. Kia, Fila, Sport Toto, Longines, Turkish Airlines. How about we throw in a plug for Hoyt Bows and Easton Arrows as well?
Of course, they're a big sponsor of World Archery, and I believe at this tournament alone, there's Kaspersky as well, which is an antivirus program for computers. And last month or a couple months ago, they hosted the World University Championships here, and all of the medalists were able to get free virus protection from Kaspersky. So that was a big sponsor here, and I can see that they've got a sign out here that they're here. So thanks to them as well.
I always believe in protection. So here we go, the women's team gold medal match. Mexico came out of qualifying ranked 4th. India came out of qualifying ranked number 2. And that's a good look at the Mexican team right there. Mexico, a 6-0 win over Indonesia, then a 5-3 win over Germany, before a 6-2 win over China in the semis. And a good look at Alejandra Valencia on the left, Aida Roman in the middle, and on the right, Gabriela Bayardo, 20 years old.
And this team is going to be a very strong team as well, Miss Bayardo. I've seen her around a lot, and I know that she's a good shooter. Aida Roman, no explanation needed. And Alejandra Valencia is also on top form. She had won the Mexican Olympic Festival a couple weeks ago over Aida Roman. So she's right up there with Aida. So you cannot be complacent against this team. You cannot let your guard down, and Team India is going to have some serious work for them.
India having a good week here in Wrocław. Started off with a 6-0 win over Poland, the host nation. Then they want to shoot off with Ukraine before taking the measure of Georgia with a 6-2 semifinal win over the Georgians. And it's a strong lineup for India as well, obviously, to get to this point. Taking a look at the trio of archers from India. On your left, Deepika Kumari, who will be competing not once, not twice, but 3 times today. Right now she's teamed up with Bambaila Devi Laishram in the middle. And on the right is a newcomer, relative newcomer, Laximarani Maji, 25 years old and ranked 172nd in the world. But of course, she's got 2 very good archers on either side of her.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great team for her to be on, just to get that experience and get that knowledge of what it feels like to be in a gold medal match on this finals field.
So Mexico on target number 1, India on target number 2, and let's see who is on target to start things off. India.
I have to comment that I'm very surprised that there's so many people wearing long sleeves out there. It is hot out in that sun, and the India coach is wearing a jacket. All of Team Mexico is in long sleeves. Good on them, but I'd be boiling.
Alejandra Valencia, 9th in the world. She was 4th of the World Cup finals in Paris last year. Solid 9 to start things off. Now going second for Mexico, the 20-year-old Gabriela Bayardo. And not totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Youngster, first time out here.
But that was a little weird because that looked like a good shot. It looked pretty solid to me. So maybe she's just got to move her sight like we saw with China. They all started low on their first arrows. Maybe that's something she's suffering from today as well.
Got to get it out of the system as Aida Roman comes up with a 9 on her first shot of the day. So 25 points posted by Mexico, India, with Bombaila Devi Laisram starting off. Wide right. Good look now at Laximarani Maji, a 25-year-old. Competed in Shanghai and Antalya, no medals there. Will get a medal here today.
Deepika needs to shoot a 10 just to tie with Mexico after the first 3 arrows in this set.
So good to see Deepika back out there in World Cup competition. It has been a difficult year for her, but she has gotten a few things straightened out, and here she is, and she's shooting a 9 just outside the 10 ring with her first shot.
I read an article that said she'd gone back to old equipment, gone back to the old coach, gone back to the old way of shooting, and sometimes that's needed. There's a lot of change in archery all the time. A change in equipment, change in thoughts on how you shoot a bow and arrow, thoughts on the biomechanical way of properly shooting a bow and arrow. So for her to bring it back to her roots, so to say, is it's good on her. It takes a lot of guts. But if she knew that she was shooting well with that style before, it's not a bad place to go.
And it's gotten her back here to a gold medal match. She'll be in 3 matches today. Mexico trying to bear down right here. Roman with a 9. And so 50 points in that opening set for Mexico. As we switch back to target 2.
And India can take this set with, I say simply, with 3 9s. Let's see what happens here. There's one of them.
From Bombaila Devi Laisram, who won a mixed team bronze medal in Medellin this summer. Laximarani Maji, who did win a team silver medal and an individual bronze at the 2010 Asian Grand Prix in Malaysia. And 8 to tie and 9 to win the set. Deepika Kumari.
Perfectly capable of shooting 9s.
3-time World Cup final silver medalist comes through for India. So Deepika Kumari appears to be back in the form that we saw her in a year ago. And as the result, India forges ahead in this match, taking the first set and leads 2-0. 52 points for India and 50 points posted by Mexico. But Mexico, and I think both teams know there's room for improvement out here.
Yeah, I mean, like Mexico didn't necessarily start off with the score that they wanted to. They've got a 7 down there and a couple of 8s. So at this level, you really can't be shooting any arrows outside of the gold, especially against a strong team like India. So both of these women's teams know that keeping them in the gold will average you some 10s. So if you can just maintain gold, you're going to have a good match against the other team.
We've been talking about Deepika Kumari and the struggles that she's had this season. She was left off the Indian squad for stage 1 in Shanghai and stage 2 in Antalya. She got to Medellin, didn't score any points, finishing 17th individually. And as you said, Crispin, she went back to her former coach. She went back to her old bow, and she's gone back to her old ways.
So if it's worked before and you wanted to try to tweak it a little bit and you know that the tweaking didn't really work, go back to what worked before and work on that and make that much better.
So Mexico trailing 2-0 in the match will start off the second set. Alejandra Valencia with a 9. Gabriela Bayardo, a bronze medalist a year ago at the Arizona Cup, just leaks outside the 9 ring into the 8 ring. a little bit closer to where she wants to be. And Aida Roman, who scored a clean sweep, 3 gold medals at the Mexican Grand Prix this year. Just inside the 9 ring. Devi Lystrom. Who won a team silver medal in Torino 3 years ago at the World Championships.
That shot just looked a little tentative off the string. It's just something that when I looked at it, I just said that's probably not
a
10.
confident shot?
Yeah. A little shake going on right now. Maji. But there's something there's something to be said about shaking.
Especially when you almost put it in the centering.
Exactly. But when you're shaking, there's a way of thinking where why fight the shaking? Just let it happen and just perform your shot. Just make the shaking part of your shot.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot for Deepika Kumari.
As long as you're not fighting yourself, I think that'll actually reduce the amount of shaking. So whatever she did on that shot for Miss Maji was a good decision.
May want to do it again.
The watchers really like to shake while they're at full draw in this high pressure situation, but sometimes you just can't help it, so might as well not fight it.
Bayardo with a 9.
Mexico really needs to shoot a 10 right now. Naida Roman is perfectly capable of doing that. Just needs to put everything together properly and make it happen.
Well, if you need a 10, I would turn to the woman who is the Olympic silver medalist in London, only losing the gold medal by a shoot-off with Kibo Bay. And that is Aida Roman. Up to the line right now, shooting for Mexico.
That was a little of a longer shot, and she paid the price for that. That's an 8.
Not what she had in mind, obviously.
No archers ever have an 8 in mind.
No.
Confident. Left shoulder relax.
So Miss Lystrom taking a little bit more time on the line.
Draws it back, lets it fly, and a little low. And but still in that 9 ring. Mombaila Devi Lystrom.
Easy shooting.
Team gold medals at stage 3 in Medellin and Wroclaw a year ago. 17th in London in 2012. Maji now. A gold medalist at the Asian Grand Prix in 2009 in New Delhi, and she scores a 9 as well. So India seems to be a little bit more solid up and down throughout this lineup.
And India only needs a 7 on this shot, but I mean, it's Deepika Kumari. She's probably not going to shoot only a 7.
A little bit better than that.
Yeah.
2 better.
Now India's leading 4-0 in set score. And Mexico's got to really focus now on at least trying to win 1 set off of India to go down 6-0 or 5-0, but it'll be 6-0. To go down 6-0 sometimes takes a little bit of a hit on some of the archers out there because it's like
the psyche.
I couldn't really do anything in that match. So to be able to come away and say that you at least took 1 set off of your opponent is a little bit of a small win in some people's minds. And I love being able to say that even when I lose. I love being able to say that at least I got a little bit off of them and I at least tied this set. Or
well, you battled, you competed.
Yeah, you just didn't show up and they just outshot you outright. You want to be able to have something to take away from that.
So Mexico's in the situation right now, it's akin to the parable eating the elephant, 1 bite at a time.
Yeah.
And so right now they've got a big challenge ahead of them, but they can't think of it that way. All they can think about is this next set.
And they can't tie either. That's the problem. They can't just tie right now. They need to outright win this set in order for India not to win 6-0.
A lot of talent out there from Mexico right now. They need to put it together to keep this match going. They're down 4-0 here in this match. Lost the first set 52-50. And here in the second set, lost 54-51. So the 2 set points in each of the first 2 sets went to India. They lead it 4-0. And Mexico in danger of being swept, just as Georgia was in the opening match, the bronze medal match. But a good strong start for Alejandra Valencia and Mexico.
Grande, Gaby, fuerte.
Now the 20-year-old Gabriela Bayardo needs to keep it going. And does.
Muy bien, eso es. X. Ahí está.
Terrific shot by Bayardo.
It looks like that was their first 10 of the match, so that's a great way to start out what you're hoping is not your final end.
Aida Roman
Bien, muy bien.
close to that center ring. So they're dialing it up a notch, no doubt about that. 28 points on the first 3 shots of this third set. Let's see what India does to respond, as Mexico has dialed it up a notch. Bombaila Devileshram with a 9 herself.
Interesting on India's target, if you look at all of the arrow holes that they have in their target, they're predominantly low. So whatever India is doing, they should put a few more clicks on their sight to move it lower so that their arrows come higher and start hitting more 10s instead of low 9s.
Laxmi Rani Maji with a 9.
Just maybe not that much higher.
She heard you. Just maybe a
little bit too much.
little bit too much.
Yeah. It's a Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear type idea.
A little higher, not that high.
No.
Deepika down the middle.
10 points.
Good shot, good shot.
She only dropped 2 points so far in the 5 arrows that she shot, so it's pretty good.
Looks like the Deepika Kumari of old, and we will see much more of her coming up today.
Grande, fuerte.
Valencia, not happy. You could see that look on her face as soon as she released.
So that may have looked like a really strong shot to a lot of people, but what I saw was a really forced shot. It was not natural. She didn't let the bow do what it wanted to do. She tried to make a 10 happen instead of letting a 10 happen. That was a big downfall. That was a more relaxed shot. There you
Oh,
go.
nicely done. Gabriela Bayardo coming on strong in the third set, but is it too little too late? Aida Roman dearly hoping to shoot a 10 right here. Instead, it leaks out into the 8 ring, and again, Mexico in danger.
And it's really interesting that the newcomer to the Mexican team was kind of the person who kept them afloat there. And you see it happen a lot, and a lot more nowadays too. But
Good shot.
There's a 10 for Bombaila Devileshram.
there it is.
Wind batana.
So India is poised to put this match away. Laxmi Rani Maji, competing in her 10th year internationally, only 25 years old, but she's got experience.
Continuous.
A little long hold.
Puts it to use. Long hold, but she put that experience to use, her patience to use.
Time batana.
And now just 5 or more to win it.
She's got 8 seconds left. Plenty of time. Just do a smooth, strong shot, and
Kumari can do
go.
it with her eyes closed. That's it. It's over. It's done. It's in the books. And India comes away the winner in the women's gold medal match.
in straight sets. No,
That was an
Less.
impressive performance.
yeah, that was. I mean, it's hard. It's tough to see teams lose in straight sets, but it's really rewarding to see some teams perform at that level of shooting and be able to, on command, at will, put it down when all the cards are on the table, so to say.
A dominant performance by India. Mexico putting up a valiant battle, but it is India coming away with a straight set victory. They won the first set 52-50, the second set 54-51, and they take the third set 56-53. So as the match went on, India got better, scored 52 points in that first set, 54 points in the second set.
I learned respect. I learned effort. I learned responsibility.
It's time to give a bit of your time to others.
Elegance is an attitude. Longines.
Gold medals in women's competition. China won in Shanghai at stage 1. Germany won, beating China at stage 2 in Medellin. Then it was Antalya, Turkey, and China beat Korea in a shoot-off. And here it's India over Mexico.
And Mexico really didn't. I don't want to say they went down without a fight because they shot strong. They were really giving it everything that they could.
Well, there was great effort, I thought.
It was an awesome effort. It was a great, valiant effort from Mexico. So you can't say that Mexico conceded and settled for that silver.
But
they
some
fought
days,
it.
Crispin, you come up against somebody who's just really on top of their game and having a great day. And India was having a great day.
And that's happened to me way too much this past summer. But it's like whatever you do, you just can't beat this person or this team. So in those cases, you just need to know that you are shooting well, you are doing your plan, you're executing what you need to execute. And sometimes it just doesn't work in your favor. And in that case, just roll along with it, finish off strong, and that's what Mexico had to do here. But India was just that much stronger.
So once again, India the gold medal, Mexico the silver, and China settles for the bronze medal. In fact, not just settles, very happy to go home with that bronze medal. And speaking of bronze, we get set for the men's team bronze medal match right now as we go to the guys. And this match featuring China and Russia. Take a look at the first team out, and it is the Chinese team. China, number 5 after qualifying this week. And China, with a good week, beating Belarus 5-1 in the quarterfinals before losing a shoot-off with India in the semifinals. And we will meet the 3 archers from India very shortly.
From Russia.
Is this not the Chinese team?
This is, but we will meet the China team. You
China
said
team.
India, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. China is what I meant, and this is what we've got. All right, Wu Zhuzhong, Li Jialun, and Yang Jiwei, the 3 archers out there for the Chinese team.
it's a hot day. Well,
It is a warm day.
It's a very hot day out here.
And so we get set for the introduction of the Russian team right now. Russia scoring a 6-2 victory over the United States in the quarterfinals before losing a semifinal match with Mexico by the count of 5-1. And some young archers out there for Russia in this bronze medal match against China. And we will soon meet the trio from Russia as the judge has them line up on the shooting line. Alexei Nikolaev is in the middle, or excuse me, on the right. The other 2 archers are Bayer Zibektorgiev and Bolat Zibjitov. Zibektorgiev is 21 years old, Zibjitov is 20 years old, and Nikolaev, not sure exactly how old, but he looks pretty young as well.
And sometimes youth has a big factor in this game, just in terms of how well you are, how resilient you can be on a hot field like now. But again, like what we said with China, is that some of our Chinese superstars aren't here today, such as Dai Xiaozhang. And they have the Asian Games coming up, and we believe that China has either sent their B team or given their A team an option of whether or not they're coming. Or these guys could just be that much better than the A team. So China is a strong team that you sometimes don't want to come up against.
But Russia's in that situation today. We'll have to try to make the best of it. China, once again, beating Belarus and India. Or excuse me, beating Belarus and losing to India in the semifinals to wind up in this bronze medal match. And they start off almost with a 10. Very close.
Millimeter outside of the 10 ring, just high.
Yang Jiwei with a 9 to start it off.
It's a very strong start. It's a good start. I shot with this archer on my target during the ranking round. He's a very good archer. He can group really well. He can shoot them in the 10 when it needs to be done.
Wu Zhuzhong, 21 years old, ranked in the top 500, but just kind of getting his career started. I'm sure his ranking will rise as time goes along. And here's Li Jialun, 21 years old. His first international competition was in Medellin at stage 2 back in May down in Colombia.
Yeah, it's the first time I'd seen him as well. So fairly new. 7 is a little weird for China to be shooting.
So now the Russians start off with a 7 off to the left,
It's an 8.
or an 8, excuse me. Zibekdorjiev. Now this is Nikolaev, who won a team bronze medal at the European Championships in Armenia last month. With his teammates looking on intently, he shoots an 8.
I think they might be trying to figure out the wind if you're, so you can see some archers moving their sights. Zibekdorjiev just moved his sight. And I think they're just watching the arrow flight. They want to see what it's doing while it's in its various stages down the field, when it's on its uprise towards the apex of the arc and when it's coming down. And Russia just had a little bit of a slip up. They thought that they were still shooting, but it's 3 arrows per team with each given time. So China shot 3, Russia shoots 3. Now China goes back.
Zibjitov high on that shot in the 7 ring. So an early lead for China that they try to build upon on the shot by Yong Jae-wei. 21-year-old, ranked 108th in the world. Now here is Gu Jusong, 21 years old. Finished 33rd in Antalya at stage 3. Other than that, he's only appeared at 3 tournaments in Bangkok. So this is really his first, well, actually his second time out on the World Cup stage.
So it looks like this might be the B team for China.
Which
But
is actually a very good team.
B team going to the bronze medal match, shooting 10s in the bronze medal match. Makes you kind of scared of their A team.
Yeah, Li Jialun with the 10. So 52 points, no way for Russia to catch them. The first set will go to the Chinese team.
That's not actually.
No, you're right.
true.
They could with 3
but
10s, they could
3 10s,
win.
They need a 10.
Well, there's
That's
one right there, yeah.
So we got to watch intently on what these next 2 arrows do.
You are the math major, aren't you? Yes, you teach math.
No, I just know. I've just seen this scenario before.
I need to get my iPhone out and do some calculating. So 2 10s right here, and they do have a chance to take the set.
That's a 9. Best they can do
Nikolaev.
now is just tie. So the best Russia can do is get 1 point.
Split the set. It's up to Zibjitov, though, who's got 4 years of experience on the international stage. A 10 will tie it. Ooh, it's a 9. So the first set will go to China.
That was a high-pressure situation for him because he had let that arrow go with about 4 seconds left on the clock. And personally, as being the 3rd shooter on my team, I know that I really don't like being pressed to perform my shot. But the reason why you are in that position is because you can speed your shot up and still not get as much variation in the result. So I can shoot a shot that only takes me 5 seconds from putting my fingers on the string till arrow hitting target.
And still be accurate.
And still be accurate. But you still don't want to have that pressure, especially this early on in the match. This was just the first set. So if the Russian coach is anything like our coach would be telling us, you know, smooth out your timing, watch your timing, let's get the transitions going really well, and not have 5 seconds left for the last archer to finish.
Let's
off
not
his
put
last
Crispin
arrow.
Duenas in this position.
I'd probably be yelling at my team if they did that to me a second time.
Once, okay.
Once
Second
is fine.
time,
Yeah, it's just a contingency plan. You don't want to have to always do it, but it's there just in case you need it.
interesting though, you and I have seen people who do thrive in that kind of a situation.
Yes, yeah. Some people love having, or almost sometimes need having, the reduced amount of time for them to shoot the arrow. And there's one form of what we call target panic, where they need to have that pressure on them before they can make that arrow go. If they have that time, if they have the extra time before the arrow goes, then they're going to use up that time by aiming harder or taking that time to aim, taking the time to make sure that the shot is absolutely perfect.
Thinking it through too much.
Exactly. So it's as if you were telling someone, I want you to walk me through how you walk, the process of walking or process of running. Some people start saying, you know, heel toe, make the weight transferred, knee has to bend, now knee has to go straight. Now
Just do it naturally.
Exactly. So some people need that shorter time to do it naturally, albeit you don't like using that shorter time, but it has to happen sometimes.
Russia trailing as we start this second set. They're down 2-0 in the match. Came out with a 9 by Zibekdorjiev, but Nikolaev Leaks out into the 7 ring. So now it's up to Zibjitov to try to bring it back. Look at the intensity and the focus on the face of that young man. A 9. So 2 9s and a 7. 25 points posted by Team Russia. So China with Yang Jiwei leading off. In his first international competition in Medellin this summer, competed in 3 events. He was 9th in the men's competition, 9th in mixed team, and 4th in the men's team competition. So we kind of saw him start to come on in Medellin.
And he just shot a 10 there, proving why he's traveling for Team China.
Gets them off to a great start.
China are starting to get a little loud now, which is normal.
A little fired up.
And you have to be at this point when you're going for a medal.
Sure.
If you're just sitting there and just quiet, good shot, it's sometimes your archers start to wonder if you're really in the game or not as a coach.
Hey, back-to-back 10s and almost 3 10s in a row. That'll get you fired up. So China forges ahead in this second set, leading by 4 points midway through this set. Carl Arky along with Crispin Duenas here on World Archery TV. Hope you're enjoying our live coverage from stage 4 in Wroclaw, Poland. Zibektorjev nails the 10. So Russia trying to answer. Alexei Nikolaev. A pair of top 10 finishes in team competition at Belek last October. 10 again. Back-to-back 10s for Russia.
That's what they want to have happening. Maybe all that arrow watching they were doing earlier has really paid off.
Zibjitov, can he make it 3 in a row? He would really make things interesting. Oh, he was talking to himself as soon as he let it fly.
Sometimes you just know the millisecond before your clicker goes on the recurve that this shot shouldn't be going right now. And you needed that little extra time to settle the bow down or get your sight back into the middle. But yeah, as soon as he released that, his mouth was open and he was probably swearing at that arrow. But China just put down another 9, 2 10s, 2 9s. And I mean, it'd be a miracle for them not to win this set.
Gu Zhuzhang with another 9. That's 3 9s in a row after the 2 10s to start off the set.
And a 6 will take this set. I think China is very capable of shooting more than 6.
Li Jialun. Plenty of time. His considerate teammates leaving him enough time to get off a good shot. It's an 8, which is enough in this situation.
Yep. And sometimes you don't need to shoot perfect all the time. You need to shoot what will win. And China just did that. They needed a 6 to win. They shot an 8. They didn't need to shoot a 10 there. It would have been nice to shoot a 10, but he could just relax and perform his shot and know that whatever he did, wherever it landed, as long as it's inside the blue, they were going to take that set.
Now, human nature being what it is, Crispin, you get to this point, you're in this match, you're fighting for a medal, but you lose the first 2 sets and you're down. I think it would be natural to drop your head, get disappointed. I think this is the hardest part for a team like Russia right now in this situation, to really rally and try to get back into this thing.
Yeah, and at this level, you cannot drop your head and just concede to settle for losing. But also, you can't start trying harder than what you normally do. What a lot of teams and a lot of individuals have to realize is that when you're in this pressing situation, what you do normally is always enough. So you can't say, okay, I'm going to make sure that my release is going to be really solid on this one, or my bow arm is going to be extra still on this shot, because that's giving your brain more things to think about than you really normally think about. Whenever any archer shoots really well and you ask them about that, they'll usually say, oh, I just went out and did what I always do. They didn't say that I thought about this thing more, or I thought about this thing more, or whatnot. So that's what Russia really needs to pull out right now, is just to relax and do what they always do. They made it here to this match, so whatever they did before, repeat it.
Bair Zibektorjev. He was on the teams that finished 9th in Shanghai, 9th in Medellin, 9th at Belek last fall. No World Cup medals yet this summer. was hoping for one here today, but his team is going to have to rally. He starts off with a 9 and sets the table for Alexei Nikolaev.
We'll see if this match is going to be another 6-0 match, like what we've seen in the previous 2 matches today. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more interesting. But Russia really needs to start winning, well, needs to win the set.
Putting up points. Zibjitov with a 9. So a pair of 9s, that 8 though, hurting the chances of the Russian Federation at this point.
And China just needs 3 9s to be in the lead after 3 arrows.
They'll lead off with Yang Jiwei. And the 21-year-old just outside the 10 ring. Close, not quite there.
Just about a millimeter or 2 up, and that would have been a 10.
Aiming at that target, 70 meters away.
Really quick shot. So China needs now a 10 to be in the lead.
Li Jialun.
Another big side anchor. He's not touching the tip of his nose.
Off to the side of the nose, yeah. And he's off to the side of the 10 ring and the 9 ring as well. So Russia actually with a 1-point advantage midway through this third set, this all-important third set that Russia absolutely, positively has to win to keep this match going. Cannot afford to split. If they do, they'll pick up 1 point, but China would pick up the 1 point it needs to win by getting to 5 first. Another 9 for Russia. Zibektorgia with the good shots. Alexei Nikolaev, who won a team bronze medal in 2006 at Porridge, a team silver medal at Porridge in 2009, and he fires a 10.
20 seconds left on the Russian clock. That's plenty of time. That's actually the average amount of time each archer should be getting anyway. So
10 right here, though. Big shot.
Wow.
Big, big time shot.
So China now needs 3 10s to win this match. This first arrow could dictate it all. Needs a 10.
Russia has put the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Chinese team, although they lead it 4-0 in this set. And there it is.
And we're going to be going to another set.
That's right. There is no chance for China to win this set. The Russians have won this set. They'll pick up 2 points, and we will play on in the men's bronze medal match.
So these last 2 arrows are going to be for sighting in, because the last 2 arrows for these archers were 8s out left. So I think they're just trying to make sure that they are centered for the next set that will be coming up after scoring.
Pulls that string off to the side, not on the tip of the nose, and it's in the 9 ring. So 52 points for the Chinese team here in the third set. They won the first 2 sets. Russia takes the third set. Russia winning it by the score of 55-52 here in the third set. After China had won the first set 52-51, took the second set 52-53, but a bit of a reversal of fortunes here in the third set as Russia wins it 55-52. They'll pick up their first 2 points, and they will, at the very least, avert a sweep and may very well have put themselves back into this match. They win the next set, then it's anybody's match at that point.
Yeah, that is basically like the first, well,
That's
if
the first
they
step.
win the next set, then we're going to be going into a tiebreak, because that'll be the end of regulation scoring. So it'll almost be like those first however many arrows didn't count.
Back to square one at that point. By the way, looking back on this 2014 World Cup campaign in Shanghai, it was the Dutch team from the Netherlands that won the gold medal in Shanghai at stage 1, as Rick van der Ven, Chef Vandenberg, and Mick de Bakker defeated Ukraine. In Medellin at stage 2 is the United States sweeping China. Brady Ellison, Jake Kaminsky, and Jeremiah Cusick with the win there to pick up the gold medal in Medellin. Stage 3 Antalya, Japan, knocking off Malaysia Furukawa, Kikuchi, and Sato. Who will win the bronze medal here? Right now, Russia making a bid for a strong comeback. Sibek Georgiev.
See, right now I wanna root for Russia because being able to come back from 4-0 and be able to tie it up and then go to a shoot-off would be a great story for them to bring back home for the bronze medal.
Shooting much better than they did in the opening 2 sets. Sense of urgency now for the Russian team as Bolat Zibchitov steps up for his shot. And nails it. They're getting the hang of it now.
Yeah, maybe it just might have been nerves for the first 2 sets.
Which is perfectly natural, perfectly understandable. China knows it's in a match right now. They're in a battle. Won the first 2 sets. Have their hands full right now. That'll be a 9, though, for Yang Jiwei. Sets the table for Gu Shuzong.
Right now, the waterworks in the pond have started up, so that's not static you're hearing. That's a lot of water, almost like the Bellagio in front of the waterworks in front of the Bellagio in Las Vegas going on right now. So it could be a very pretty distraction for anybody who's trying to shoot right now.
Scenic but unexpected. Happening during action.
I think it's signifying that noon has hit, and that was a 10 from China.
It was a 10 for Li Jialun that keeps them within 1 point in this set of Russia. Russia up by 1 with 3 arrows to shoot in the set. 4th set here. China leading 4-2, but Russia making a comeback bid. Zibek Georgiev. Ooh, outside the 9 ring.
There was a look of panic on his face after that arrow went, so I think he might be glad that that was still an 8.
Would love to have that one back. Nikolaev. A little closer to the center.
Lots of time left.
Zibchitov steadies himself, gathers himself. Critical shot right here for Russia. Drops it in the 10 ring.
Wow, that's some good shooting. And now China has 2 points to play with right now. They can shoot a 10-9-9 and win this match.
That is the best set so far for Russia. The most points that they have posted, 56 points. Will it be enough, though? China starts off with a 10.
So 2 9s now will win it for China.
Yang Jiwei drilling the 10. Hoping to show the way for Gu Shuzong. Just inside the line, it's a 9. So here
Lots
it
of
is.
time.
10.
9
will win it. 9 will win it. Anything less. There's the 9.
There we go.
9 is fine for China as they finish it off. So despite the strong comeback by Russia, China able to hang on and pull it out and win this bronze medal.
So, congratulations. And the last shooter, Mr. Lee, I think it was trying to fight some distraction training on that one too, because while he was at full draw, I could hear somebody in the crowd like catcalling or whistling.
You demand?
And so, I mean, it's pretty rude on whoever was doing that in the crowd, but I mean,
not proper etiquette for archery.
It's definitely not proper etiquette, but I'm very, very happy that he was able to shoot what he needed to win the bronze medal, sorry, on that shot, despite whatever somebody was doing in the stands. So, good on him.
So despite the fact that Russia shot as well as it had all day in that.
Was a very good, very strong showing for Team Russia.
So Team Russia.
We can see our volunteers downrange and the guy setting up the Falco Eye. So for anybody who hasn't seen this before, the Falco Eye is a laser scoring system. So what they do is after they've set up the target, they've got to make sure it's perfectly flat. They will calibrate this system, which has got 2 lasers running on rails on the top side and on the left side. And what that does is it triangulates the position of the arrow very accurately to be able to tell the scorers what exactly the arrow value is. It's a lot more efficient, it's a lot quicker, and a lot less mistakes unless there's an arrow blocking the line of sight to the new arrow. So that's the only thing that can possibly happen, but generally it's a very good system.
Every once in a while, though, we still need those judges.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The judges make it official, and
Human element is still involved.
exactly.
As great as the technology is.
We don't want this just to be a game of machines.
These are definitely not machines. These are human beings, and their hearts are beating fast right now as they come out for the men's team gold medal match. It'll be number 1 Mexico, number 1 coming out of qualifying, or excuse me, number 1 India, taking on Mexico, the team that qualified 7th this week here in Wroclaw, Poland. Let's take a look at the Indian team. Atanu Das on the left, Tarundeep Rai in the middle, and on your right, Jayanta Talukdar. These 3 scored a 5-1 win over Spain, then a 5-4 win over the Netherlands, and a 5-4 win over China. So they were put to the test just getting to this gold medal match. Mexico tested as well. They defeated Germany and France in shoot-offs. They had to go to shoot-offs, and they KO'd the Russian Federation 5-1 in the semifinals. So Mexico coming out of qualifying as the number 7 team. Here at stage 4, India qualifying first this past week here in Wrocław. And we'll get a good look at the trio from Mexico in just a moment. Some sharpshooters for Mexico. On your left, Luis Alvarez. In the middle, Pedro Vives Alcala. And on the right, Juan Rene Serrano. So both of these teams very deep, very experienced. I don't see a weak link anywhere.
I'm trying to think of what to say, but all I can say is this is going to be a good match because
knockdown, drag out.
I've shot with all of these guys at every point in my career. Juan Rene Serrano and I go back to 2001, and I shot against Luis Alvarez yesterday or 2 days ago in the individual eliminations. Jayanta Talukdar, him and I went to Junior Worlds back in 2002. Atanu Das and I competed together in the 2010 Commonwealth Games. Tarundeep Rai has been on their teams forever. I think he was in the 2004 Olympics.
So you kids all grew up together.
Yeah, and Pedro Vives Alcala just won the, I think it was the Mexican Grand Prix. So, I mean, there's a lot of experience.
You're right, he did.
Yeah, and this is just off the top of my head, so I kind of want to just watch and see.
Well, we'll watch Atanu Das fire a 9 to start off this match. Atanu Das, ranked 37th in the world, although he's just 22 years old. Very experienced, as is Tarundeep Rai, 30 years old, ranked 35th in the world. Won a team gold medal at the Asian Grand Prix this year.
And I hate to say it, I really hate to say it, but this match is going to be about who almost kind of breaks first. Because these guys all have serious potential on shooting 10s all day long. So it's whichever team, unfortunately, at this level, will shoot more 9s.
Now Talukdar, 28 years old, ranked 43rd in the world, and that's back-to-back 10s for India. Flying start for the team from India.
Luis Alvarez is, I think, one of the younger guys on the team. I believe so.
Powerful, though. Luis.
And the irony is that his nickname on the team is Abuelo, or Grandpa.
Grandpa's doing just fine.
It should actually be Serrano who's Grandpa, but that was a good shot from Luis. And now Pedro.
Vives Alcala, who, as Crispin Duenas just mentioned, did win the Mexican Grand Prix. He was a bronze medalist at stage 4 in Shanghai in 2011. Qualified for the World Cup finals in Istanbul that year, where he would finish in 6th place.
And Juan Rene Serrano, whose best international finish that I've seen, that I can remember off the top of my head, is 4th at the Beijing Games. Oh, that's a little unfortunate.
A tad low. So a close match as we expected. India with the early 1-point lead after the first 3 arrows. Back to India, Anatanu Das. So a 9 for Das, who was in the top 10 in 8 of the World Cup events last year. Very consistent. Tarundeep Rai, competing for the past 11 years. Got to Athens in 2004 for the Olympics.
And Jayanta, and he's been a top competitor on the World Cup scene ever since the World Cup started. So he's probably gonna shoot something in the gold right now. I stand corrected. Why did he have to prove me wrong? But anyway, Mexico has 4 points to play with right now. 3 points for the win, 4 points for the tie, I should say. So all 9s right now will give Mexico the set.
There's the first 9. Pedro Vivas Alcala, who finished 9th at the World Championships in Torino 3 years ago, 32 years old.
Striking his first arrow.
Puts it in the middle of the target. And Juan Rene Serrano needs a 7 to tie and 8 to take the set.
Oh, 3 seconds left when that shot went off, and still a 9. Still the first set goes to Mexico. Again, the team needs to make sure that they're leaving enough time for Serrano, but according to my observations, it looked like Serrano had the slowest shot out of the 3 archers. So basically, he's got to speed up in order to give himself more time
at the end on his last shot, yeah. Works out, though, for Mexico as Mexico takes that first set. India falling behind 2-0 on set points as they get outscored 56-54 in this opening set. Mexico going for the goal, as is India. In earlier competitions on the World Cup Tour, we started, of course, Shanghai back in April. Stage 1, Japan beat Australia for the gold medal. Then in Medellin, Stage 2, Colombia, Korea won a shoot-off with India. So India has been to this gold medal match before on this World Cup campaign. At Stage 3, Konyaaltı Beach, Antalya, Korea, the victors again, defeating Russia. Now in Medellin, Korea got it done with Kim Woo-jin, Ojinyek, and Kuban-chan. While in Antalya, it was Oh, Kim, and Kuban-chan again. Of course, the Koreans at the getting ready for the Asian Games.
And I think Korea's general norm is that they only go to about 2 World Cups, maybe 3 on the important years. And by important, I mean the ones that are Olympic years, so that they're really in top shape. But when they come out to 2 and, for example, Oh Jin-hyuk just comes out and wins 2 back-to-back.
2's enough.
It's enough to solidify a spot into the World Cup final.
Das with a 9 to start off the second set.
Little long hold.
Okay.
It's okay. Oh, you can hear his coach saying, okay. Sometimes my coach gets a little worried when I hold a shot for that long because she'll start to wonder if it's how far out into the red it's going to drift.
Jayanta Talukdar, who won a mixed team silver medal at Stage 3 in Turkey this year. Talukdar drills the 10. So India spots up 28 points.
We've got the water show going on again in the background.
And if the wind should shift,
that water's going to come straight over to the archers.
Yeah, you could get a little mist coming over towards the archers. We'll worry about that if it happens, though.
I don't think the
Not much
is,
wind.
Yeah, it's not strong enough to actually push any mist over to the archers. But that, if I was on that field, that might be a welcome
Cooling, yes,
down.
effect.
Yeah.
Alvarez with a 9, and now an 8 by Vivas Alcala. Brings up one Rene Serrano. He captured a team bronze medal in Poland last summer here at stage 4.
Good shot.
Nice shot, nicely done by Juan Rene.
But India is still in the lead by 1 point so far after 3 arrows, and Mexico is going to hope that India is going to give them a little bit of breathing room here if they want to take the next set. That's a little too much breathing room that India would have liked to present them.
Das has shot well this summer, had a team silver and a mixed team bronze in Medellin, but off target that time with the 7.
Can't be perfect all the time, right?
Nope. These are not machines, as we go back to what we were saying just a couple of minutes ago. Tarundeep Rai, who overcame a career-threatening shoulder injury earlier in his career, still out there shooting at the age of 30. Shooting well with that 9. In fact, a pair of 9s here in the second set for Tarundeep Rai. And Talukdar, hoping to finish strong, but it veers off into the 8 ring. And Mexico vulnerable, or excuse me, India vulnerable to Mexico at this point.
And all Mexico needs here is 9-8-8, 25 points. Sorry, 9-9-8, 26 points to take the lead over India, or take this set from India.
And go up 4-0.
So they need 2 9s now to survive and go up 4-0.
Pedro, fully capable.
Time is starting to run out, though. He's at almost 20 seconds right now. That's a 9.
There you go, and 20 seconds left.
Serrano needs a 9 now. 20 seconds is, yep, that's about right amount of time. 15 seconds to knock. And about 10 seconds when he reaches his face.
Looks cool, calm, collected, even with just 5 seconds on that clock, letting it fly. And it's a 9. That's what he had to have.
Oh, yep. He's definitely got a shakier shot than I'm used to seeing on him, but I just spent a previous week with him in Germany because we had an invitational tournament in Germany, and there's a lot of high-level shooting that's been done by a bunch of these archers, and I'm wondering why we're not going to be seeing Brady Ellison later on in the individual matches, but in terms of the men you're going to see today, Rick van der Ven was there in Germany last week. You're going to see him later on today, and he's been having a great year.
He'll be in the gold medal match this afternoon.
Yep, exactly.
Taking on Mauro Nespoli.
Nespoli was not at that tournament in Germany, but again, Serrano was there. It's been a hard 2 weeks of high-level shooting. But shooting for a gold medal match with your team, I think that's a great way to end off your 2 weeks of traveling and shooting.
So a 4-0 lead, or a 4-0 deficit, I suppose, on your perspective.
You're an optimist, or if you're Mexican, or if you're
Mexican
Indian.
or Indian, yeah, it depends on how you look at it right now. If it's Mexico, it's a 4-0 advantage. If it's India, it's a 4-0 deficit. Once again, India in the situation right now that Russia found itself in just a few moments ago in the bronze medal match. Russia was able to rally, come back, and make a game of it. Now let's see what India can do. 3 very talented shooters. Atanu Das leading off. And Atanu Das with a 9. Atanu Das with 2 gold medals at the 2011 Asian Grand Prix. Now Tarundeep Rai, who won a team silver medal in 2011 in Porridge. Team silver medals in Ogden and Antalya in 2012. He puts up a 9. Jayanta Talukdar, who finished 17th individually at stage 3 Antalya and at stage 1 in Shanghai this year. And as we mentioned earlier, did win a mixed team silver at stage 3 in Antalya, Turkey this summer. 3 very good shots to start off the 3rd set for India.
Yeah, those were, I mean, almost as close to the 10 as you could possibly shoot without being a 10.
Obviously a heightened sense of urgency for India right now as they trail 4-0. Mexico hoping to pull off a clean sweep as Luis Alvarez, who won a men's team gold medal in Medellin, puts up a 9 spot. Vivas Alcala shooting from that left side in the 10 ring.
Serrano just needs a 9 to maintain pace with India, and Mexico only needs a tie on this set to win the match. Again, here's that shake that I was talking about. Good.
Throwing post here.
So tied at 28 all.
India would love to put a 30 down there just to put a little pressure on Mexico. Can't do that with 8s.
That takes the pressure off.
And that's the second arrow from Atanu Das out to the right, way out to the right, I should say. So I think he's got to either look at his, he'll probably be going home and looking at how he shot those arrows and his form and how he came off the string, but he probably knows exactly what happened right now.
Tarundip Rai.
A little bit of a wild shot. And here we go for Jayanta Talukdar, last arrow for India on this set.
And after
Hopefully
that 8
not
and
the
that
match.
9, they really need a 10.
Yes.
Always need a 10, but really need a 10.
Long hold.
10 for Talukdar. Clutch shot.
So Mexico needs 3 9s to win.
That would give them 55 points. That would tie the set. They would split the points. Mexico would get to 5 points first and win the gold medal.
That was a really long waiting time that Luis did.
When he let it go, it didn't seem all that pleased, but it still wound up being a 9, which is all right as long as Vivas Alcala and Juan Rene Serrano come through, but that could
That
really
just cost-
change
Yeah,
the complexion of this.
that just
That just cost him,
set.
yeah.
Yep.
Even with a 10 right here, Mexico will drop this set. India will pick it up. And Juan Rene finishes with a 9. They'll come up 2 points short, and 2 points is exactly what India gets, and they remain alive.
They remain alive, still behind, and still cannot tie with Mexico on the next set. But I think Pedro is, or Alcala, I should say, is getting a little bit of a coaching side note from the coach on Mexico right now. And I think the coach, I mean, he's done a great job with Mexico, and I've watched how their program has grown under the direction of this Korean coach.
Well, speaking of the growth of the Mexican program, they found out this past month that they'll be hosting the 2015 World Cup Finals and the 2017 World Championships. I think that's a real feather in the cap for Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico City. And so I was just there a month or 2 ago in Mexico City. We were actually out in Toluca, and it was a beautiful range that they had there. Unfortunately, the weather didn't want to behave, and so the main range that they were going to have us on got flooded, but luckily they had a backup range that they could put us on. So the backup range itself was very nice. The main range was going to be very nice too.
The altitude for Mexico City, right about
It's high.
a mile high? Yeah.
It's very high. It's so some teams, I suspect, will before the World Championships will get there to do some altitude training and get used to the thin air before competing.
Because it does have an impact. India had an impact in that third set, got back into this match. They trail 4-2 in the match, and Atanu Das now to the left with his 9.
I think he's happy that Mexico kind of gave him that
Reprieve.
yeah. that get out of jail card.
Tarundip Rai. Also with a 9.
I haven't gotten any reports from on the field from Hugh McDonald or anything, but from my vantage point, it looks like the flags are flapping just a little harder on the field, quartering headwind right.
This is the man who helped keep things going for India, Jayanta Talukdar. He had a 10 on the final shot of the third set. Starts off the fourth set with a 9, but 3 straight 9s. Not bad. India, pretty good shape. Needing to win this set.
Again, Mexico just needs to match India at the bare minimum to win the gold medal.
Luis Alvarez, also with a 9. At 10 ring, elusive right now.
And Luis looked a little confused on that because he probably thought that that was headed straight for the 10 ring, but it hit just a little left. There we go, those 2 9s. Now the flags have changed direction. Now it's quartering left with a headwind, so
Shifting winds right now in Wroclaw.
it's either shifting or swirling. So those are 2 very different scenarios that you want to have just one of.
Serrano does appear a little shaky, but still puts it in the 9 ring. So we're tied at 27. What a match. Stage 4, Archery World Cup Tour 2014 here in Wrocław, Poland. On Recurve Sunday, the medal matches about to come to a conclusion here this morning. As Atanu Das just catches the 9 line.
Very happy to see that he fixed his shot and didn't shoot anything out to the right, way out to the right, like he did in the previous 2 ends.
Right.
This is going to be a clutch shot because that's 22nd mark right there. Get off the line right now.
Oh, and the 11-year veteran almost nails the spider.
But Janta now, he's knocked his arrow at 12 seconds. He's got some time pressure on him right now. 5 seconds left. 2.
Lets it go with 2 seconds and is spun out of there. You could tell he knew it was not the shot he wanted to take.
Yeah, and that was, again, that was way too much time pressure on Talukdar on that final arrow. You do not want to leave your archer, your anchor archer, with that time pressure.
That could prove disastrous for India. They have been shooting so well on the first 5 shots, and now Mexico basically just needs to bring it home.
They just need a 9 and an 8 here to win.
Talukdar had shot a 10 on the final shot of the third set, but comes up with a 6 on the final shot of the fourth set, and that may prove to be the undoing for India.
7 to win, actually, I should say. They needed 2 8s last time I spoke, but now it's just a 7, and Juan Rene is perfectly capable of shooting 7s and better at this stage.
Peering through those rose-colored glasses.
7 wins.
Got the 7, that's all he needed. Can you imagine if that had gone into the 6 ring, but it ends up in the 7 ring, it's enough. Juan shrugs his shoulders, smiles, says, hey, I got us what we needed.
I think he came off the line kind of
sheepish,
going, oh, I'm really sorry about that, but it's still a win. It was just enough to win that gold medal. Obviously, he didn't want to end his run on a 7, but it was enough. So congratulations, Team Mexico. Unfortunate last arrow for Team India, but that's what will happen if you take a little bit too long in the team round.
But what an interesting match that was. Mexico, congratulations. Also congratulations to India on the silver medal. But what an interesting match with the twists and the turns. Vivas Alcala shoots the 7 that hurts Mexico in that third set, and then in the fourth set, it's Talukdar with a 6 that changes the complexion of that set and the match. Boy, this was really an interesting match to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and it came down to what I had said before at the beginning of the match, which person or which team is going to mess up first, because perfect shooting is what these guys do.
And to do what he hopes to do when there's so little time and that clock is winding down and it's being counted down behind him.
Yeah, no, and It's a tough thing to have to do. I mean, my worst one ever was I had stepped onto the line and the clock said 7 seconds. I haven't even knocked my arrow. I haven't pulled it out of my quiver or anything at that point. So for him to be able to get up there and try to do what he always does, it's really, really, really tough. And for him to keep his steady composure and to be able to deliver on demand what he always does, it's difficult, to say the least, that he had to do that. And it's unfortunate that that's what had to happen with his team. But again, it's not just the other guys that are chewing up time. Like, it's a team effort. Like, whatever time Talukdar used on his shot before translates into less time for him on the last arrow. So it's not
just
the other guys.
Not just Atanu Das and Tarundi Prai.
It's Chanta as well.
And that's why they call it team competition.
Yeah, so you can't blame just the other guys or just one guy. It's a team effort, and whatever one teammate does can affect the rest of the team. So, I mean, we're learning this in strides, that whenever like one guy on the team is having a bad day or something has happened to them or whatever, they need to be able to compartmentalize, put those aside, put whatever issues he or she has got to the side, and be able to say, look, I'm here, I need to do a job, I need to be able to perform on this team like we usually do, and to be able to put it down when I need to. So unfortunately for Talukdar, that last arrow, with that countdown, knowing like you have your coach yelling at you with the times, you have your teammates counting down the time as well, there's a lot of pressure going into that. So, I mean, it shows that Talukdar is human.
Of course, if it's the movies and it's Katniss Everdeen, then, you know, it doesn't take much time to pull that arrow out of the quiver, line up the shot, and shoot an apple out of somebody's hands.
CGI does amazing things.
But that is the movies.
That is
and
the
this
movies.
is real life.
This is real, for sure.
This is real here in Wroclaw, Poland. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous weather here for the Stage 4, final stage of the 2014 Archery World Cup campaign, all leading up to Lausanne, Switzerland next month. And the World Cup finals, the field has been set, all except for one spot. That will be determined this afternoon.
Oh, really?
Tatiana Segeda from Russia.
Yep.
If she wins, she's in.
Yes.
So no pressure.
This was a do-or-die situation for a lot of people. I know that Jean-Charles Valadon had to win, and he's the guy who eliminated me, and I needed to win that match against him for me to secure my spot.
Because you had an outside chance as well coming to Poland.
Exactly. So I knew I was going to be going to Switzerland either way you put it, as either an archer or as an announcer. I would have rather gone as an archer, but now I'm going to be going as an announcer. But, I mean, it's a game of numbers. It comes down just to a game of numbers, and
it's a very select few.
Yeah. And so I would say a little unlucky to have drawn, or not drawn, but had to have come up against JC Valadon from France in the match, in that timing of when I needed to win one more match. And it's just the way the game works.
There was a great sense of urgency on the part of every archer here, I think, this week at Wrocław as they came here to compete in the final stage. And archers like Crispin, Duenas, I know Brady Ellison also was on the bubble, had a chance to get in there as well.
I think he's secured because he won. He made it out to the 1/4s, and I think he lost in the quarterfinals. So
we'll do some checking on that.
That was enough, I think, math in terms of points, World Cup points for him to gain and still make the top 7 archers in the World Cup standings.
So a real accomplishment to make it to the World Cup finals. They only take the top 7, the 8th archer provided by the host nation, and each country can only send 2 archers. Some nations have more than 2.
Korea had 4 archers in the top 7, so they had to bump out the 2 lowest archers, and that's the way the ball bounces.
Sure, and some of those archers, had they come to Wrocław, might have picked up enough points to surpass their own teammates.
Yeah, but I've never seen Korea come as individuals. They are always a team. So if the team isn't coming, you're going to see no Koreans.
And it has worked for Korea, obviously.
All the time.
With great success. Secretary General Tom Dillon on hand to help hand out the medals in the women's team competition. And we saw some dominating performances this morning from India and China in the gold and bronze medal matches. In that bronze medal match, China dominating from the get-go and sweeping Georgia 6-0 in 3 straight sets. So our congratulations to Cheng Ming, Zhu Jing, and Zhu Juman. Cheng Ming only 28 years old, Zhu Jing 23, and Zhu Juman 21. So talent and youth serving China well as they come up with the 6-0 victory, and it completes their week that saw them beat Estonia 6-0, take a quarterfinal shoot-off from France before losing to Mexico 6-2 in the semifinals, and then bouncing back to beat Georgia in the bronze medal match 6-0. Speaking of Mexico, Mexico gets the silver medal. Mexico unable to win a set against India, but it's been a good week nonetheless. Just getting to a gold medal match speaks for itself. They defeated Indonesia, then Germany, then China, before finally falling to India in the gold medal match. So hats off to Aida Roman, Alejandra Valencia, and Gabriela Bayardo.
And there they're getting their gift, and that is from Kaspersky. So now their computers will be fully protected from antivirus and malware.
There you go. Don't you hate that spam?
I use an Apple, so I don't get any.
You
of
don't
that.
get any?
No.
Same here.
Yeah. And that's not a shameless plug for Apple. I'm
No.
just stating the facts that I have not seen any malware warnings, any of that type of stuff since switching over.
Say what you will about Steve Jobs. He built a great computer.
Yep, he did. And it's strong too.
And India has built a great team right here. India winning the gold medal as Deepika Kumari makes her comeback and leads her team to the victory along with Bambaila Devilashram and Laximarani Maji, all 3 shooting outstanding in this gold medal match today. As a result, India is able to come out with a 6-0 victory, a straight set win, and they are able to hear their national anthem. India the gold medal, Mexico the silver, China the bronze. And India joins China and Germany in the gold medal circle on the World Cup Tour this year. China won twice in Shanghai and Antalya. Germany took the gold medal in Medellin, and here in Wroclaw it is India. India, the number 2 team, coming out of qualifying and ending up number 1 overall as they defeat Mexico 6-0. So 2 clean sweeps in those 2 women's team medal matches. And we will see, as I mentioned earlier, much more of Deepika Kumari coming up this afternoon in our coverage, live coverage from Wrocław, Poland. In fact, coming up this afternoon, Deepika Kumari will be competing in the mixed team bronze medal match. And then we will see Deepika once again in the women's bronze medal match. So after a summer where she's been somewhat dormant, to be honest, here at stage 4, she's going to make up for lost time in 3 matches.
Yeah, she's definitely come out strong here in Poland, and it's a great thing to see her back on the international circuit and competing with everybody else who's been competing on the circuit all summer, is what I'm trying to say. She's basically coming in fresh and showing everybody that she's still the great shooter she once was.
It'll be a little unusual being at the World Cup finals and not seeing her there. I think she's been there about the last 3 years in a row, but
so it's
if
unfortunate.
this is what
for
she
her.
has to go through to get back to where she wants to be, then
And it's not a bad year to have it happen, because it's not an Olympic year. And
Exactly.
the Olympics are by far the pinnacle of every recurve archer's career. So for you to figure out all of this stuff in a non-Olympic year, in the year between the Olympics, it's a good thing to have happen.
now
and
next year it
something you
will
need
be
to do.
critical because the World Cup finals will be held in Copenhagen, and that'll be the first opportunity for you and everybody, well, for all the recurve archers, yes.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say the compound, but the recurve archers to start to qualify for Rio.
So the World Championships in Copenhagen will be very important, super, super important for every recurve archer. You're going to see an influx of recurve archers coming out to Copenhagen to compete and just to try to win spots for their countries to go to the Olympics. But again, it's a very tough competition. You need to be in the top 8 in the teams and top 8 in individual competition. So not like you can just go and have an okay day. You need to be on your game in order to come in that top spot for your country to be able to go.
Getting set for the presentation of the medals to the men. 2 great matches on the men's side this morning in team competition on Recurve Sunday. In that bronze medal match, it was Russia facing China. And then in the gold medal match, it was Mexico against India. And in that bronze medal match, China, the number 5 qualifier, coming out on top by the score of 5-3. China broke out on top 4-0 over Russia. Russia came battling back, won the 3rd set to make it 4-2, and then in the 4th set they split as they tied, and that 1 point was all that China needed to win the match 5-3. Gu Zhisong, Li Jialun, and Yang Jiwei teaming up to win the bronze medal, which is something that the Netherlands had done in Shanghai, the USA had done in Medellin, and Japan had accomplished in Antalya.
So it's interesting, no team won the bronze medal in any two
events.
stages.
It was a different story at each of the stages, which makes the story, I think, all the more interesting.
Here's India to get their medal, and it's a great thing to see these guys up on a podium.
India becoming a really, well, they've already been a big factor
Yes.
in World Cup archery, and asserting that once again today. India, Mexico, China, really center stage this morning here in the team competition. Tanu Das, Tarundeep Rai, and Jayanta Talukdar accepting their silver medals. They had scored 5-1 wins over Spain, a 5-4 win over the Netherlands, and then another 5-4 win over China, just to get to this gold medal match, where they just came up a little bit short, losing 5-3 to Mexico. Again, the Mexican team had jumped out to a 4-0 lead in that gold medal match. Pedro Vivas Alcala shot a 7 in the 3rd set and allowed India, that'll help to allow India to win that 3rd set and make it a 4-2 score. But then in the 4th set, it was an errant shot by Talukdar on the final shot for India that opened the door for Mexico, and Mexico went right through that door and slammed it behind him, winning the set, and then winning the match 5-3 and the gold medal.
Mexico showing exactly how wide your shoulders may get with archery. The 3 of them almost just barely fitting onto the podium and having to turn sideways, because this sport can yield some very wide shoulders, and these guys who train all the time definitely are showing the benefits of training all the time.
Congratulations to Mexico.
And congratulations to Team India and China for coming in second and third, bringing home hardware and doing what a lot of archers just dream of doing.
Getting to a gold medal match at a World Cup stage and taking a selfie while you're up there.
Wow, Serrano.
He's doing it all, isn't he? He can do it all. He's the anchor man for their team and the self-appointed photographer for Team Mexico. Juan Rene Serrano with his biggest win of the season, obviously, to go along with Luis Alvarez and Pedro Vivas Alcala, the gold medalists here in Wroclaw. Stage number 4, the Archery World Cup campaign. India, Atanu Das, Tarundeep Rai, and Jayanta Tulukdar winning the silver medal and the gold medal again, once again, in men's competition. Going to the team from China, Gu Shuzong, Li Jialun, and Yongji Wei. So, just to recap very quickly in the women's competition, it was India winning the gold medal, Mexico settling for silver there, so just exactly opposite of what we saw on the men's side. On the men's side, it was Mexico beating India. And then in the bronze medal matches, China comes away with the women's bronze, and China also comes away with a men's bronze. So a pair of bronze medals for China this morning. So kind of an interesting morning overall when you look at those three nations.
And I'm wondering if the men's team from Mexico got a little bit of a push from their women's team and said, you know, India just beat us. So
we need some payback.
Yeah. Kind of the separate grudge match.
So let's look ahead to this afternoon real quickly with Crispin Duenas. Let's take a look at some of the matches. The one I think it's really interesting to look at Deepika Kumari, I think, in her individual match coming up this afternoon. We'll see how well she does, but I think maybe the most intriguing one is the mixed, well, not the mixed team, it's the individual match involving Tatiana Segana, who will be taking on Deepika Kumari. That's the women's bronze medal match. Deepika obviously wanted to make a strong statement, but Tatiana Segana having to win to get into the World Cup finals. So actually we'll have a chance to talk about that with Hugh McDonald coming up this afternoon. Right now, though, we are going to take a bit of a break here on World Archery. We'll be back at 1500 hours to be exact with the mixed team matches and the individual recurve bronze and gold medal matches. Deepika Kumari, Rick van der Ven, Aida Roman, and Mauro Nespoli all center stage at stage 4 of this World Cup stage. Live from Wrocław, Poland. We'll see you in 2 hours.